Thank you so much for coming, Kate and Lisha, and everyone, all the viewers. Thank you for this beautiful platform. I want to thank Gertrude for creating it, for women to share vulnerability and inspiration. And my story today is about family and also imperfection and finding authenticity through the imperfections of life that come your way. So to tell a little bit about myself, I am Russian. I'm not a Russian spy. Only play sometimes spies on TV in America. And I'm also a model. But before you judge me, I'm very hungry most of the time. And I have to wear 10-inch heels to work every day as well. I grew up in post-Soviet Russian food lines. So a lot of times we had maybe a bag of cereal and sugar. That's all we had to eat. And my dad was a nuclear scientist. I remember that in that times creativity was not allowed, like talking outside the box, was prohibited. And there was a lot of regime control in that time, and you can't really think for yourself. So I did try to rebel against it and created bikinis out of the Soviet uniforms and had to apologize to, the whole school at the time. I also remember American students coming to Russia to visit us, and we were chasing them after, to get some Wrigley's gum. And I specifically remember it was mint, double mint. Even though my dad was a nuclear scientist, he earned maybe less than what I started earning when I became a model at 13. So money was always a big motivator, being self-sufficient, independent. And when Paris called to move to Paris at 13, even though people thought that it's all about like trafficking girls to dance on tables, I made a decision to be responsible for my family and move to Paris. And then I lost my dad at 15. So life didn't go as expected. And even though you think modeling is very glamorous and beautiful, a lot of times girls are starving themselves to look a specific way. And I thought if I starve myself more, maybe I would earn more money. So I developed anorexia. Thank God that, my agent pulled me aside and said that morals and, being grounded is more important than no matter what you do and whatever you earn. And that kind of brought me back to not trying to be perfect or inauthentic. And I thought one thing, I would never have kids, because my doctors told me that I have inverted uterus. So it's something that makes you really hard, to have kids. That's why I focused on modeling more and earning more money. And then at 23, when I was at the top of the career, surprisingly, went to the doctor and they said, "You're pregnant." And I was like, oh my God, maybe I don't speak English anymore. Or how could that happen? And it was a big challenge because, modeling career is very short and usually girls have to decide, 23 is already over the hill in our world at the time. Thank God it's changing a lot. But I went through, I decided that family is the most important thing. And I had the kids and I went back to work, only to find out that being a model mom is not something that you're aspired to do or achieve in our society. A lot of times you're judged not only as a model, but also as a mom. So I remember not fitting into either worlds, not fitting into the world of modeling where you have to, project that image of perfection. And, girls would have to go out and be very social. And at the same time, not fitting into the world of motherhood, where I would pull up in maybe like short skirt or something like that. And it would say that, well, you look not enough desperate to be a mom. So I felt like you're judged all the time. And I remember one time I was going to the school to pick up my kids. And I was coming from a zombie movie covered in blood, which I was washing off, driving from downtown LA, hoping that the cops wouldn't arrest me, thinking that I murdered somebody. I drove into school, showed up, changed in the car into a mom attire, which I thought I looked desperate enough. and met the counselor who said, well, what happened to your elbow? There's a lot of blood. And I just realized that I forgot to wipe off the blood and had to come clean and say, you know, I do that as a job, but also I'm trying to be a mom. And what's interesting is my kids actually noticed me trying so hard that one time they said, well, you know, mom, it doesn't matter. Like my friend Jack, his mom is a banker and she's a banker mom, and you're a model mom, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna be ever perfect. And I realized that to be a mom is to be an example, because kids, they learn by example. So you have to share your vulnerability, imperfections, and tell them that they're also enough to be imperfect and make mistakes and grow through them. So I realized, I think my kids really taught me that, you know, like in Japanese, there's an art of gluing back things that are broken. And in Russia, there's a saying that the first pancake is not perfect ever. And what I realized, it's always amazing to aspire to do something and to be something that it's never going to be perfect, especially as a parent. So that is my story. Thank you for listening.